Hello and welcome to the Graveyard Media Podcast for the week of March 26, 2018, episode 35. I'm your host
Hooray.
as always, Saine Grey, and with me is Dalsson
That's me.
and Thel.
For
I
some
pointed
reason,
the
my
wrong way
camera
again.
looks a lot more ominous than it usually does. It's like staring down at me. I'm having
Sinister.
a staring contest with a one-eyed robot.
Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal.
Yeah.
The podcast bay doors, am I right?
The podcast bay doors, please, Hal.
No.
I'm sorry, Sane. I can't do that.
Alright. So we're going to start off the show by talking about the games and movies we've checked out this week, and then head into gaming and movie news, second half of the show. So, who wants to start this week? Thel.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, alright. So I finally fucking saw Birdboy. God damn, this has been a long time coming. I've talked about it on the podcast 50 trillion fucking times.
I still remember
Okay, now-
absolutely nothing about it.
Okay, so
Wow.
now that's the sidekick of the Blue Falcon, right?
No, it's the sidekick of the character in the
Hawkman,
Birdman
Of course.
films.
Yes, Hawkman. Right.
Yes.
Harvey
Yeah,
Birdman.
Mhm.
Basically, it's a little, you know, we gotta mix this into superhero movies. We gotta get them views. But Birdboy though, wonderful film about a bunch of cute little animals and the physical manifestations of their drug abuse and mental illness physically coming to try and kill them.
Sounds fun.
It was a lot of fun. Of course, as if you've seen the trailer for it, that's basically how word got out. G Kids released a trailer, and then everyone was like, "Oh my god, this looks like fucking incredible," and I was too. And then I watched it, and yeah, it was pretty damn good. Maybe not as good as I was expecting it to be, mostly because it tried to fit like a ton of plot lines into like just a regular fucking hour and a half. So it was a little bit constricted and a little bit squished for what it wanted to do, but animation ain't cheap. Shit.
I
And
suppose.
especially because I think this is like it's a Spanish production. I don't remember what country it's from, but I watched the English dub, it's fine. I mean, I don't like watching dubs, but I was really excited to watch this movie, and yeah. So yeah, the movie is about a little mouse. Her name is Dinky.
What movie are we on? I'm sorry.
What?
What movie did you say? Are we still on Birdboy?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was confused.
Yes.
You started talking about a mouse, and that's not what I was expecting.
Well, yeah, it is a movie about it's a movie about animals. It's got all kinds of animal people. It's except for it's a
Is
movie about a
Birdboy
mouse.
an actual bird?
Yes.
Yay.
It's a movie about all sorts of animal people. Dinky is a little mouse who lives in a abusive household where her like one of the weirdest things was like all of the characters are some sort of animal except for Dinky's father, which is like a human in a mouse costume, which was funky. It was almost like it was like, is this like the director's father or something? He's just like playing a cameo in it or something. I don't know. Excuse me. Dinky wants to go leave her horrible life on this post-nuclear apocalyptic island where everything is shit. So she goes with a couple of friends and tries
Why would
to...
you want to do that? Animals thrive after a nuclear apocalypse where humans aren't there anymore.
No, they're like animal people. It's like it, you know.
They're like furries.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They're furries, basically. They're like adorable.
See, I was imagining like Watership Down.
No. These are just furries who worked in the crazy industrial future,
Like Tooth
which
and
ended
Tail.
in a nuclear apocalypse,
I
which
see.
ended in things getting much worse. Yeah. And it all ends in a beautiful speech about how everything is hopeless and nothing will ever go the way you want it. You will never escape from it. Wonderful movie for that. If you want to go in and feel like shit, beautiful goddamn movie. Great animation. The characters that it did focus on a little bit were great. Great fucking, it's good everything. Good everything. It has these little touches. Like in this movie, in a movie like this, one of the things that you would expect, Dinky brings drugs to Birdboy. She's like an enabler, and Birdboy is secretly doing some of these altruistic things, and you would expect a movie like this to go like, oh, she was bringing him drugs, but Birdboy was actually using those drugs to like help other animals or something. No, he's just straight up a drug addict. Like that's just one of the side plots of the movie is Birdboy's just straight drug addiction. That was one of the big themes of the movie was like poverty and drug addiction. The two big things in the movie that sort of drive it home. It's got that whole message going on very, very, very front and center.
How's the animation in it?
Oh, fucking incredible. It's great.
Nothing to elaborate on, just it's great.
Okay, it has that very sort of sketchy style. That sort of hand-drawn sketchy style where it's got all of the stuff moving at once. It looks like like I said before, it was like some sort of like children's storybooks. Like those 1930s with like the little tiny sort of pudgy animal characters. Not anime characters.
Okay, that sounds cool.
Yeah. And everyone in the movie is some sort of fucking horrible person, except the fox boy, who everyone's just racist to, like it's Zootopia.
Like it's Zootopia.
Oh well, for the exact same reasons as they were racist to Nick in Zootopia. He's a fucking fox. He's just gonna goddamn steal everything. And the fucking police to arrest this piece of shit. This little fox is in our territory. He's like 5 years old. He's fucking trying to steal from us. We need to kill this little piece of shit.
Yeah, jeez. Same thing.
Yeah, exact same thing. So yeah.
So why'd you wait so long to watch this movie?
I don't know. I couldn't get this movie until like now. Again, like the only way I was able to watch this movie was with the English dub, which was unfortunate. I want to see this movie again in the original language. But yeah,
Spanish, right?
Yeah, Spanish. So yeah, Birdboy is definitely a recommended. So far, it's taken the second spot. It's one of those things like, wow, that's gonna be a hard fucking contender. Right behind Annihilation, one of my favorite movies of the year. Good shit. Also, I give points for good animation, and this sure is that.
I liked Annihilation, but I don't know if it'll make my top movies of the year this year.
Okay.
Right.
Well, anything else you want to go into right away, or I watched a movie.
I'm trying to think. I didn't really do anything else.
All right.
Anything
well,
new, at least.
I'll talk about Pacific Rim.
Oh, you saw the new one?
Did you see it?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
No, I'm just gonna talk about it for no reason. Segment where we talk about what we've seen this week.
Okay.
I'll do that. I didn't see Pacific Rim because Guillermo del Toro didn't give a shit and didn't do it.
So, and I looked into it a little bit because, so I watched the movie, and then immediately after movie, he had a production credit. Guillermo del Toro did. And then he had a credit for visual design consulting. So I actually looked into it to see like how much he was actually involved with it. And it seems like he didn't direct it this time because he was busy with probably Shape of Water at the time. But he did do production and a lot of consulting with it. So and like script notes and design notes. So he was involved with it. He just wasn't directing it this time.
Well, yeah, again, they did that George Lucas was involved with the Star Wars Holiday Special. It's one of those things where he made the first one, so they called him on the phone a couple of times and asked him about it.
Well, he actually read through the script and left design notes, though. So
okay.
Script notes. So it's not as if he was completely divorced from the project, but you can tell that it didn't have his... It didn't feel like a Del Toro film, if that makes sense, though.
Yeah.
So I was thinking a lot about this movie. Overall, I liked it. I was thinking a lot about it after seeing it, and I think that for me, the one place where it differs from the last one in particular is the relationships between characters and the pilots was significantly less intimate than it was in the first one.
Which is weird because that was one of
one of
like
the
kind
major plot lines of
you like have to be able to drift with somebody to pilot a
one of the
mech.
major plot lines of the first movie was that the main like the relationship between the main two characters, right?
right.
This one they had two main characters that were in separate Jaegers, and I don't even really remember the main character, the male lead's main character's like co-pilot. I don't even remember his name.
I see.
He was generic white guy, like army soldier man.
They were friends.
They were not friends.
How the fuck were they drifting?
So they were friends, but at this point in time they weren't friends, but he was kind of in a position where he had to go back. But they were still drift compatible, they just weren't super drift compatible. So they had a connection, but it was sort of a weak connection in general. But,
right, okay.
But like, yeah, again, the relationship between co-pilots was significantly less intimate this time. You know what I mean? Like it was very much like he would like his co-pilot was just not the focus of this movie at all. It was really about the relationship between this younger girl and the main character, played by John Boyega. And let's step aside and talk about John Boyega's acting for a moment. I think when you do a Star Wars movie, you're kind of in danger of being typecast, and just like this movie could have easily been like, oh yeah, Pacific Rim, but starring Finn from Star Wars. You know what I mean? But I thought that John Boyega did a really good job of separating his character's mannerisms were so different from Finn's that you really like didn't think about it in the movie. Whereas I think that like there's always a danger of that.
Yeah.
And he did a good job of separating himself from that.
John Boyega, yeah. I remember seeing John Boyega in Attack the Block, and yeah, he's good. He's got range. He knows what he's doing. I liked him. He was my favorite part of the first new Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I saw Detroit also had John Boyega in it, but that one his character had a lot less substance to it. So when I was watching that, I was like, oh yes, like the guy from Star Wars is in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this movie, he definitely, since he like had more of a lead role and was more, there was more to the character in a way than in Detroit. He was able to separate himself from his Finn credit a lot better. But getting back to the movie,
John Boyega's first thing that he ever acted in officially was a stage play of Othello. He was Othello, unsurprisingly.
All right.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a fun fact. I like Othello.
So I've seen a lot of the writing be criticized, and while I don't wholly agree with what a lot of people are saying in that it like people are saying it just doesn't make sense, I don't think it doesn't make sense. I just think there are parts that really stretch your suspension of disbelief and really What?
Are you able to describe the general gist of what's going on without spoiling stuff? I mean, you might have to spoil stuff from Pacific Rim 1, but that came out like 8 years ago.
Okay. After the events of Pacific Rim 1, they closed the Rift portal for kaiju that were coming through, right?
Right.
So in this one, the kaiju are not back, but they have like the Pacific Rim program up so that in case of another kaiju attack, they're like prepared for it. So they kind of have a standing army of Jaegers now.
Okay.
But they also use them as kind of pseudo law enforcement and like protection as well.
Strange.
But they didn't really super go into that.
I imagine that would be like a lot of collateral damage for picking a dude out robbing a bank.
Well, one of the first scenes, the girl character, her name was something Amani. She kind of creates a small Jaeger. that can run on one neural load, but it's like up to the shin of a normal Jaeger or something.
Oh, okay, so it's still fucking huge.
Well, no, it's about the size of like maybe a 2-story building, or
right,
maybe a 2 or 3-story building, as opposed to like a skyscraper.
Yeah.
So it's actually significantly smaller than a normal like Jaeger, but but it can only
it uses the same technology.
Yeah. And so because of events in the movie, the Amani and the character played by Boyega, who I forget his name now, but he was the son of the general guy who sacrificed himself at the end of Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
So they kind of meet by happenstance and then get pulled back into the Jaeger program because apparently that other guy had left at one point, but kind of forced back into it. And kind of the principal thing that's happening in the beginning part of the movie is they're creating drones to replace Jaegers so that they can remotely operate like drone Jaegers from a distance. And then there's like fallout that happens between that. What I think a lot of this movie kind of loses is, first of all, it's a lot lighter in tone than the first one. The first one was they played it straight, it was serious, whereas this one isn't. While not being goofy, it was still like more lighthearted.
Giant robots.
So the tone of it seems different, right off the bat, kind of.
And that's weird to me because the first one was very much giant robots.
Yeah, but it was like, I don't know, like it's.
Well, they played it in a way that like.
It was serious though.
Yeah, it was very serious, and it did a good job at being serious.
And it was like dramatic, whereas this one it trades drama for like kind of. I don't know, like I don't know. I don't want to say laughter because it's not like it was a comedy, but it was. Yeah, it had funnier moments and it was like lighter toned.
Right.
Also, something that was kind of missing compared to the first one is the first one there was multiple like teams of Jaegers who were very competitive with each other, sort of.
Yeah.
And this one had none of that. Because I think it was only American Jaegers this time.
That completely goes against everything that Guillermo del Toro wanted to do with the first one.
It was very odd because it felt like there was a piece missing. And like when you're watching the trailer for Pacific Rim Uprising, you see like 5 or 6 different Jaegers, and you're thinking, okay, there's all of these Jaegers, clearly they're going to like fight in the earlier part of the movie and then like be brought together in the later part of the movie. I thought this movie was going to be like there are no kaiju, so they're fighting each other, and then suddenly kaiju show up and they're forced to fight together. That's not what it ended up being at all. It ended up being this other thing about drones, and then there's like kaiju stuff at the end, right?
Right.
However, one of the better things about this movie is that it actually had like a more distinct villain, and the villain was very compelling.
As opposed to the villain is kaijus in general.
Right. In the first movie, it felt like they were fighting a force of nature.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, they were fighting a particular person, which was interesting. And then the kaijus attack. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. But fighting a force of nature though isn't necessarily a bad thing.
That's not bad, but
it gives a sense of desperation. Like, how can you fight a force of nature?
Right. It's not bad, but the villain was compelling in this movie, so it had like a sort of a point of reference. I don't know.
Right.
There was one point in the movie that really it really pushed me to the edge of suspension of disbelief though, because I don't know, this is a minor spoiler, I guess. There are, when the kaijus come back, there are 3 kaijus, and then through something like really contrived, they merge into one bigger kaiju.
What the fuck? So they have to merge their mechs into one bigger Jaeger.
No, it was like Jaeger Voltron. Or not Jaeger Voltron. It was like Kaiju Voltron a little bit.
Good.
And they also gave an explanation for why the kaijus were coming in the first place, which is something they never explained in the first one, other than general, maybe they're invading us?
Question mark?
But yes, the second one actually gave a purpose to what the kaiju was doing, which I thought was interesting. Again, maybe a little contrived, but not super out of the realm of possibility, whereas I feel like some of the contrivance in other places is way more egregious.
Was Charlie Day in it?
Who?
Yes.
Does it make or break for me? He was.
He was in it.
He was the scientist guy from the first one.
Oh yeah. Very much so. Actually,
yes.
both scientists were in it.
I love Charlie Day.
Yeah, I didn't recognize his name, but yes, he is like very much a key character in this movie. Almost to the same extent, if not more, than the first one. In fact, both of the scientists were almost more principal to the plot than they were before. Whereas before, they kind of like they were sort of a subplot that led to an like helping the main plot. But this one, they were very much like in the main plot. So,
I see.
There was a lot of them, and it was very good. Yes. I'd give it like a 3 3 out of 5. It not nearly as good as the first one for sure. It's not that bad though. It's not like a bad movie. It's pretty good. I did like, especially if you liked the last one, this is more like robots fighting. And it felt like there were points in, and what I was going to say about like the three kaiju like merging is that it really felt like the reason that was there was because someone sat down and said, you know what would be cool? The three kaiju merging into a bigger kaiju. Now, how are we going to get there? And then they kind of make something up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it felt like that was in there for the purpose of being cool rather than making any sense. Less so than the contrivance for why they were there in the first place. I don't know.
Right.
They also very much signaled a third Pacific Rim at the end of this movie. And actually kind of in an exciting way. So it would be worth watching. I would say it's worth watching, especially if you liked the first one. Definitely less serious in tone, but that might be to some people's liking more than others. I don't know. I definitely recommend it. But
I want to see
3
it.
stars.
I really like Pacific Rim 1, and half of what I liked about Pacific Rim 1 was giant robots punching monsters.
Yeah, and that's very much in the movie.
Good.
And robots fighting other robots, which is fun.
It's always fun too, exactly.
But
it's in theaters now, right?
Yeah, it's in theaters right now. Maybe when it comes out on Blu-ray, we can all watch it.
Yeah.
Why don't we move on to our next topic?
Which is...
I'll just jump into the next thing I watched this week with Jessica Jones.
Okay.
Season 2.
Neither Thel nor I have watched it, and we were supposed to.
Were we?
So, yes.
Well, it came out like 3 weeks ago or something. Almost
Yeah.
4. I think 4 weeks ago now, almost. So about a month. So Jessica Jones season 2, it has like a lot of the Netflix shows kind of have a very similar formula, and this season actually does mirror a lot of those formulas as well. Again, in that like about episode 4 or 5, you're gonna get with a flashback episode, like kind of segmented in that way.
Right.
That's you're gonna either take that or leave that for what it is. But unlike any of the other like Netflix shows, it has a thing where the villain actually gets more compelling over time rather than the opposite. The only time I think obviously Kingpin was compelling throughout the whole one in Daredevil, but other than that one, a lot of the villains were like, oh, here's the smaller villain before the big villain, but the big villain isn't even remotely as interesting as the smaller villain.
Like Diamondback, was he the first or the second guy in Luke Cage?
Diamondback was the second guy in Luke Cage. Coppermouth was the first one.
Yeah, Coppermouth. Yeah. Was it Coppermouth? Cottonmouth. That's it.
That's right.
There was another guy named Copperhead, but he was nobody.
Copperhead is a DC villain.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. He's a snake man.
Well, Cottonmouth was really interesting, and then just
yeah, and then they just
now
drop
I'm
it.
Luke Cage is me.
Diamondback. So
I'm Power Rangers.
The villain in Jessica Jones season 2 was not as compelling as Kilgrave was in season 1. But I mean, that's going to be hard to top in general because, like, 1, it's David Tennant, and that's just cool. But 2, it's like he was a very interesting character with how his powers work. Whereas,
that was the thing. He just felt like completely ridiculously strong. He like Dalsson was talking about the Force and Kilgrave felt, and that's what kept me on board.
He
Kilgrave was great.
Like, how do you fight that?
Exactly. Whereas the villain in Jessica Jones season 2, not nearly that strong in terms of like power set, but what makes her interesting is her relationship with Jessica.
I see.
Which is something that they haven't kind of explored a lot of, especially with Jessica Jones, whereas I feel like it's not like this kind of plotline has never been explored, but the way that it interacts with Jessica Jones is really interesting based on all of Jessica's trauma, not only associated with what happened with Kilgrave, but just generally as a person, right?
Right.
But it starts off kind of being very much like Jessica Jones doing Jessica Jones kind of things, like, drinking and solving cases and kind of going through the motions of what, Jessica Jones does. And that's going to be like, that's either going to turn you off or
I like how when you were listing things that Jessica Jones does, she's a detective, right? But the first thing you listed was drinking.
Yeah.
Then solving cases.
It is not unreasonable to say that she is a, functioning alcoholic, right?
Yes.
So,
if barely.
That's very much part of her character. So,
yeah.
And kind of for good reason. In terms of like, especially some of the stuff they pull out in this season, and whereas the theme in season 1 of Jessica Jones was very much about like I don't know, like sexual trauma and rape and those kind of themes,
even if not explicitly.
Right. Season 2 of Jessica Jones is very much about like anger management and that sort of thing. So like the themes are kind of different. Like the first one is more of PTSD, whereas this one is more about like anger management, kind of like, as it relates to PTSD. Does that make sense?
Right.
So it actually like is, and this is kind of what I loved about the first season of Jessica Jones, is it really explores and all of the Netflix series sort of do this. It explores different kind of aspects of mental illnesses and how they relate to specific characters. And I think that's super interesting with how it relates
or physical
to Jessica
illnesses,
Jones.
like with Daredevil.
Well,
sort of.
I mean, he doesn't that really his blindness is necessarily
any kind of impairment.
Yeah. So
I suppose.
But I mean, he kind of has like a rage thing going on and like an anger thing going on, but his is more of like a quiet anger, where Jessica Jones is very much and other characters in that season. It's actually the anger management thing is not just about Jessica. It's actually about several characters. And themes of addiction. There's a lot of themes of addiction in this one. Surprisingly, not Jessica Jones' alcoholism. Go figure. But yeah, it explores a lot of interesting themes. Kind of unlike any of the other Netflix series have. If you didn't like Jessica Jones season 1, though, you're not gonna like Jessica Jones season 2 because it very much is about Jessica Jones, and in fact, season 2 might be more about Jessica than season 1. So, and in fact, it certainly is. It's not even like comparable. So if Jessica Jones rubs you, like the character Jessica rubs you the wrong way, it's going to continue to rub you the wrong way. But
well, and it was a little bit of that for me, but then there are like other characters in other media, like BoJack, that are very similar. It was more just the fact that like not only were all of her like supporting characters not like almost reacting to her in like that negative way, but also all of her supporting characters were very one-dimensional.
See, I disagree with that quite a bit, and actually, season 2 does a good job of like further expanding all of their characters as well. There is a significant story arc with Trish. There's a significant story arc with I forget his name, the black dude.
Marcus, I think.
What?
I think it's Marcus. I'm not positive.
I don't think it's. Maybe it's Marcus. I don't remember. But whereas in season 1,
the guy with the fro, right?
Yeah, in season 1, that character was like used, and a lot of that, the story arc for his character was how he kind of was coming out of feeling used and wanting to help people. And this next season kind of further expands on that, in addition to themes of addiction. It it like doubles down on some of the stuff that they were getting into in the first season.
They had like an episode where they had to get him clean or something.
Yeah. But he's actually not the only one who has addiction problems in that season. So, or in season 2. So they actually do a much better job of exploring a lot of the characters from season 1. But I definitely didn't react to it the same way as you did. So, I don't know. It might just be one of those things. And Jessica is like, if you compare her to BoJack, it feels like BoJack is like trying to be a good person, or trying to, but maybe not trying, but like he wants to be, right? He wants to be a good person. He wants people to like him. He wants to you know, be good, but he feels like he's sabotaging himself and like hurting his relationships with others. Jessica Jones doesn't really feel like she wants to be friends with people in a lot of situations, and is almost actively trying to push people away constantly. So if, like, for instance, you know someone like that, it might turn you off to it, in the same way that I am not interested in watching like Breaking Bad for a lot of the same kinds of reasons. So
now it's funny you mentioned Breaking Bad, because I'm pretty sure that this was a downward spiral, and don't correct me if I'm wrong, Thel, because you'll know if I'm wrong, but I don't know whether you'll convince me that I'm wrong. I think it started from a downward spiral, starting with Breaking Bad, because she played a character in Breaking Bad who was exactly like Jessica Jones, but without superpowers. He was literally the same character. And she didn't have superpowers.
Well, sort of. I don't know. Yeah, she was actually a lot more. In Breaking Bad, she was very, very caring. She just made really, really, really stupid decisions. And also, I just generally don't like that. That's like the only thing.
And Thel does not like that actor. And I remember actress, actor. It does. Who cares? When the very first time we saw Jessica Jones, Thel just immediately went, oh. And I was like, what? And he was like, she's playing the exact same character she played in Breaking Bad. And this was before I had seen Breaking Bad, so I didn't really know.
Yeah.
And I go like, what's the problem? And he said, it's just that this lady's typecast and I don't like her. And I think from that point forward, all you hung on was everything bad in Jessica Jones, when you realized that you didn't like the main character because of the actor that was portraying her.
I don't know. There was a lot, especially like even there were even like little tiny things that were a lot really far removed. And remember, this was right after Daredevil, so I actually kind of had high hopes for this.
Yeah, that's
there were a bunch of little things, like little special effects things, and like shots that would like she would like barely jump up a little bit in one shot, and then we'd cut to her on a roof. It looked like an ABC Family special. It was all around.
I do remember that. That was
weird.
That was strange, but I was like, no, that makes sense. Jessica Jones can fly, but apparently, apparently she can't.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't talking about like her powers. I was talking about like the way that the show was made.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know if you guys got to the point in Iron Fist where he punches that metal door.
That's a question. That's a good question, though. Would you rather finish watching Iron Fist or watch Jessica Jones season 2 if somebody held you at gunpoint?
Maybe Iron Fist, just because it goes a little bit farther into bad. I might have more fun making
stupid.
No,
it doesn't. More fun making fun of it.
It never reaches good bad.
Oh, it never does.
It always stays bad.
It just gets boring. I'd rather.
It doesn't get boring. It just gets stupid.
Oh, okay.
I don't like Iron. Of all of them, I don't like Iron Fist. I have almost nothing good to say. The best thing I can say about Iron Fist is they had a good concept and ruined it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You know what? We could do. We could just watch Mad Men. I haven't seen Mad Men.
I watched the first few episodes of Mad Men and didn't like it because I didn't like any of the characters.
All right.
I think that it can be hard to watch a show where you don't like any of the characters or have any connection with any of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see why Thel might not want to watch Jessica Jones, just because if you don't like Jessica Jones as a person and she's annoying and rubs you the wrong way, then you're not going to like it because the whole show is about her doing things, right?
And again, it's like she's pushing people away, but then the people just sort of flock around her.
Well, but I mean, they have their reasons, though.
Really well.
They have their reasons to block her and help her and stuff, but
sometimes just because they need to for their own benefit.
But and then in season 2, certain things go the way that you might think once Jessica has spent all season pushing them away. So or in a twist of fate, other characters might push Jessica away. So they do interesting things with the character dynamics in season 2, I would say.
Okay. That was my biggest overall problem.
Especially with the villain that they add. I think that the villain they add is starts out as kind of like seems one note, but as the series develops, like she gets more interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Jessica Jones, I didn't like it as much as season 1. But that's because season 1 of Jessica Jones is actually one of my favorite of all of the Marvels, like Marvel Netflix series.
Right.
Jessica Jones is my second favorite one out of all of them.
I would say probably Punisher is my favorite.
I liked Punisher.
Like second? I really like the first season of Daredevil.
Yeah, and that's also my first. The season 1 of Daredevil is just the best one. I don't think it's super hard to argue.
I would say that's pretty. Well, I mean, it's always going to be subjective, but that's as close to objective as you're going to get. Daredevil season.
I think there's a good consensus that season 1 of Daredevil is the best.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think my personal favorite was Punisher, just because I like Punisher, and it was good. I like Iron Fist, but it was so bad that Thel and I couldn't even watch it. Literally could not watch it.
I don't know.
Meaning I like Iron Fist.
I feel like I almost want to recommend people watch it just because there are some interesting concepts that they bring, but it just feels like the execution is so poor that it's like it feels like telling anyone to watch it is waste of their time.
And again, remember, I've been talking about Jessica Jones, like I've been talking shit, but I finished Jessica Jones. I did not finish Iron Fist. Me and Dalsson were watching. We were like, "Do we want to keep?" No,
my interest in the property pushed me to watching all of it.
Right. I think that Iron Fist may actually be the first show that I have ever started that I actively stopped watching. Like sometimes in like a show, I'll be like, I don't feel like watching it, and just never get around to it, right? Iron Fist, we watched like 2 or 3 episodes, and I just was like, I do not want to watch this anymore. I think that is the first thing that I've ever done that with in my life.
Yeah.
Well, actually, technically, you did right before Iron Fist. We stopped watching the last season of Scrubs. That's right.
Yeah,
remember I was like, oh yeah, last season of Scrubs is really, really bad. I hadn't actually seen it. I just heard it say it's apparently really, really bad, and it's like I had talked shit about like the beginning of the second.
I think we actually watched more of Iron Fist than we did the last season of Scrubs.
We watched like 2 episodes and we're like, oh no, this isn't even like we can't even like make fun of this.
I think it was the 3rd episode where he escapes from the insane asylum. I don't even know what that place was.
We got to like the 4th episode or something.
Yeah, when he escapes that, and that's the end of one of the episodes, and it's like,
the
CG on that door was fucking god awful. Probably the worst like effect they've had in any of the shows, especially since they have a tendency to use practical effects just generally.
Yeah, I mean, and because it looks really good for them.
It looks better and it's cheaper in a lot of situations. But like they wanted to show him punching through a metal door, but like it looked so bad. I don't know.
It was pretty lousy.
Yeah.
I think they could have done that and showed how strong he was without crumpling it the way he did. I don't know.
It was like something you would see on like Spy Kids 3D, right? Except it was in like 2017.
Yeah, I don't know.
In our year, Lord, 20 fucking. And I think or whenever
the real issue with that was obviously the writing, and the only reason that person had a job was because he knew someone at Marvel, because he was also on Inhumans, which was also trash. So he's never going to be on a Marvel property again, which is good. Maybe someone will salvage season 2 of Iron Fist if there will be one.
Inhumans was so bad that they didn't even like let it.
They didn't happen. They canceled it like mid-season. They didn't even run it all on TV. They stopped.
They just straight up the initial they did like an early screening of it, like in theaters. Critics coming to watch the Marvel's new Inhumans. It's gonna be great. You're gonna love it. Immediately destroys the worst fucking piece of shit that if you had to hold me to a gunpoint, that's the one I want to watch. The real bad one.
I don't even know how bad it was because I didn't actually watch it. I just heard so much awful stuff about it. I was like, eh. I never liked the Inhumans, and I don't think most people liked them. So
I had never even heard of the Inhumans, and I know a decent amount about comic books.
Well, if you know anything about Inhumans, you'll know maybe about Black Bolt, right?
Yeah,
the guy who whispers and like blows up with
who yelled "Why" at his parents and
Yeah, so
that wonderful scene from Inhumans that is circulated that makes me interested in watching it. Beautiful trash.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like they're not that writing credit for both of those series, Inhumans and Iron Fist, feels like nepotism. I don't know because I haven't looked into it because I just don't care enough. I don't know if it's nepotism, but it feels like nepotism. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But Jessica Jones is certainly better than that. I put season 2 above season 2 of Daredevil, like the second half of season 2 of Daredevil.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, because you can break Daredevil season 2 into 2 parts. Season 2 of Jessica Jones was definitely a lot better than the Elektra stuff, but you could argue about how you feel about the first part of Daredevil season. Better than Iron Fist, easy. What else was there? But Punisher, it's gonna be that one could be a toss-up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not actually sure. Maybe I'd put Punisher above Jessica Jones just because I also like Punisher a lot. But I don't know. I feel like it's really close on that level, I would say. Depending on how you like the characters, I guess.
Right.
I definitely give it like I give it a 4 because it won't be for everybody. 4 out of 5. But still really good.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, let's get into something else. I think that's all of the movies and TV shows. We actually talked about this.
Hold on a second. Actually, I just remembered something. Dalsson, we've been watching Deep Space Nine. You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Deep Space Nine.
It
came out like 20 years ago, so
yeah.
If you,
we just finished watching the first season of Deep Space Nine. Came out 20 years ago. Yeah. The first season so far is really, really good. I love it. I'm really surprised at how much I love it. I honestly might like it a little bit more than I liked The Next Generation.
It came out in 93 and ran to 99.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a super unpopular opinion. I don't think it's a super unpopular opinion for people to say that it's better than it's like. I've heard lots of people say it's the best Star Trek.
Really?
But,
Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine. But Deep Space Nine is a very different beast to any other Star Trek.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like, depending on what you value more, kind of like the highest consensus really of what the best Star Trek is either Deep Space Nine or Next Generation. Those are like the two that people have like consensus over.
Basically the same. So like Deep Space Nine was, for all intents and purposes, a Next Generation spinoff, right?
Yeah. Oh, by all intents and purposes, you mean a legitimate, very literal spinoff of Yeah.
I mean,
it was 100% a spinoff. That's what it was.
Spinoff. Yeah, it's not like.
Well, it's. I don't know. Did Deep Space Nine ever appear in Next Generation, like the space station?
I don't think so.
Because if all you're saying that makes it a spinoff is Worf was in it?
No, like multiple characters from
okay,
like half
so
the cast from
in an episode of Next Generation, they discovered this wormhole, and Deep Space Nine is a space station that was set up to monitor that wormhole.
Yeah.
By the Cardassians, which they then took back.
Which the Bajorans then
took back
with the help of the Federation. And like a lot of the characters showed up in the Next Generation. Kira, Dax, O'Brien is in it a lot. So,
yeah, O'Brien is one of the main characters of Deep Space Nine. He transferred from the Enterprise to Deep Space Nine.
I think the only the characters that didn't show up are Quark, Odo, the Doctor, and Cisco. And Cisco might have shown up. I don't actually remember.
I don't think Cisco. No, I watched all of the Next Generation recently. Cisco is not in the Next Generation.
Okay.
But he talks about Picard a lot and how much he hates him.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's not true. He talks about Picard once and how much he hates him.
We've been making jokes about it ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah, of what I've seen of Deep Space Nine, which this was a long time ago, mind you, I definitely liked Next Generation more. But I don't think that it's a super I think either one of those is they're both really good, so it's hard to
yeah.
It's like apples and oranges in a way.
It's really hard to decide. They're just both so good. Like you said, Deep Space Nine has like almost every main character in Deep Space Nine is really compelling and well written, and I like all of them. Even Quark, the Ferengi backstabbing asshole.
I love Quark. He's one of my favorite characters in any Star Trek.
He's one of the best characters, exactly. And if you look at the Next Generation, have you ever seen a Ferengi character that you can even name? No.
Well,
so that's what makes
Quark cameo in it.
I think he did. I think he did in one episode. Yeah.
Because I think that was the thing. They spun off interesting characters from Next Generation to be main characters in Deep Space Nine a couple times.
Yeah, that was why.
But that's the big thing about Deep Space Nine. With the spin-offing stuff. With Next Generation, because of the fact that it's on the Enterprise, the big exploring ship, they constantly go from one place to another and spend an episode focusing on one alien culture and then move on to the next episode and the next episode. Whereas this is very focused on the the Bajoran and the Cardassian thing, which
and just generally
like
the interpersonal relationships between the characters on the space station.
Yeah,
which is something they focus on a bit more than in Next Generation.
What they said, yeah, but like I think one of the big things that they wanted to do with Deep Space Nine was that, like, some people had some complaints about the Next Generation, like, you know, it was way too episodic. They didn't focus enough on this or that or the other thing. So what they tried to solve all of that with Deep Space Nine by, like, they still have episodic things, but they also have like long overarching plots over like entire seasons, and they still have like it's a lot more political at some points, like, you know, fake political. And
yeah,
I don't know, there's just a lot of interesting stuff going on in Deep Space Nine. And then you have characters like Odo, who like doesn't even know what he is. He's just currently a shapeshifter currently.
Yeah. Where we're at in the show.
Yeah, where we're at. So they just have like so much stuff to explore, and it's great because they have so much stuff to explore on this tiny little space station. And every time I watch an episode of Deep Space Nine, I'm like, they're on a space station. I want to play Space Station 13. Yeah, because Space Station 13, like, I knew that Space Station 13 was heavily inspired by Star Trek, right? But I had never actually watched Deep Space Nine, so I was like, oh, they've just changed it from a ship to a space station, and all of these things are where you would have a ship. It's straight up not based off of like Star Trek in general. It is based off of Deep Space Nine specifically.
Yeah. And
that's the name Space
that.
Station 19. I'm
13.
Is it 13?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that, like, I had a wire crossing my brain for a second.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Deep Space 13.
Maybe we shouldn't spend too much time on 20-year-old shows and move on.
That's fair.
Why don't we talk about Sea of Thieves? Because we're starting to run close to our hour, and we don't have a ton of news, so we can lead into the next hour a little bit. I don't mind that, but we should probably get onto some games.
Yeah,
right.
Let's talk about.
Actually, before we get to Sea of Thieves, do you want to talk about RimWorld first?
I did last time.
Did you? Okay, well, that's fine.
He
did last time.
Okay.
I like RimWorld.
RimWorld is still good. And
yeah,
I'm still
I feel like you
it.
didn't really go into it last time. You were just like, it's good, but okay,
I mean,
that's fine.
It's still just good. Go buy it. Go play it. Yeah.
So we'll talk about Sea of Thieves next.
Right.
So we put kind of a lot of time into it this week, probably about like 9 hours or so, at least 9-10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think of it so far?
Content light, but everything that is there fucking actually works.
It works great. It's really fun. It feels a lot like you know, you're a pirate sailing on the high seas, and it has everything working together perfectly to like make that, like, you know, you have to like turn the sails. You've got like 4 dudes running around. Some of them have to man the cannons. You've got to build your ship out. Even when it rains, like, water will collect under the deck. You get stuff like, if you're just standing at the front of the ship, you can feel the waves come at you, and your ship bobs up and down, and like the sea spray sprays at you. It's really just feels like you are a pirate.
So I feel like the things that they've done well in this game are make the ship stuff work well in terms of sailing and the like water physics and all that. I think it's the overall progression that is kind of lacking for it.
Yes.
And that's really what's gonna like shoot it in the foot.
And especially at a $60 price tag.
Yeah, I'm really worried. At this point, so what we did to play this game is we did the Game Pass thing, where we subscribed to the 14-day free trial, and then
of the Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, so we use that rather than purchasing the game, and I think a lot of people are going to do that. And at this point in time, that might be the way to do it, because this does not, like, It's really fun for a while, but I don't know how long it will be in the long haul.
Right.
And I really want this game to like turn into something bigger, but right now like the progression is like different color hats and stuff, which is fine, but like the only real reason to get money at all in that game is to get hats.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not really interested in playing any more of it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And not only that, it's like there are 3 missions to do. You can go find
animals.
Yeah, you can go find animals. You can go find a treasure, or you can kill skeletons.
And that's it.
And I heard there were as you progress a little bit, there are different kinds of skeletons and stuff too. And then there's also the Kraken, which apparently you can fight, and you can win that. We just have never done it.
You just have to fight off all of its tentacles.
Yeah.
And then it goes away and there's no reward.
And then there's also some kind of end game raid thing, which I've heard of, but I don't really know how it would come to be or anything.
There's also fighting other pirate ships, which seems cool until you realize that you're fighting another human being and they're just going to cheese you as hard as they possibly fucking can.
You say that, but...
And it feels like there's no real point.
Because, there's no reason.
Because a lot of times people will fight you and you don't have anything to steal. So, and they don't have anything to steal. You guys are attacking each other for kind of no reason.
If you have something to steal, it's likely that you're just going to run away from them. Additionally, if you kill the people on their ship, they just come back in 15 seconds.
Well, yeah, but you can blow up their ship.
Yeah. Well, and here's one of the things. Like you were talking about, like how you were annoyed that they'll just cheese you for no reason. One of the big problems that I had with the fucking PvP in this game was that there are people on the Xbox playing the game, so I can't lose to them. I don't think I was once like shot by a man to death.
I got shot by a guy once using a blunderbuss, which basically fills the screen with bullets, and it propelled me off his ship, and I swam back up and then shot him in the head once with a pistol, and he died for the 4th time.
Yeah.
And it was
like there was a point where we were all on the island, and there was like this other group of people coming in and out of the island, and I would like use I was aware of my surroundings, and this man wasn't. I was just like sneak up behind him and shoot him a couple times, and then he would try to shoot and not be able to hit me at all.
Yeah, like I was just kind of zigzagging, and people couldn't shoot me with their pistol, and I was like, what is going on? Like, I can't be fighting who are just bad at the game 100% of the time, right? And I realized this guy's probably using a controller, so zigzagging makes me significantly harder to hit instead of slightly harder.
This isn't fair anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that really matters. I don't know. I mean, I guess the weird thing for me is this game doesn't really feel like a PvP game, even though in a way that's kind of the meat of the game.
Well, currently the meat of the game.
Well, sort of. Also, so there is a
honestly
maximum.
Maybe should be the meat of the game. You know what I mean? Like
there's a maximum per server. There is a maximum of 6 ships. The map is so large that we've played for hours and hours without seeing another human being other than whatever pub gets seated into our galleon that we brig immediately. That's another issue with the game. Like, I think that's an explicit issue that they need to fix.
It's 24 players. It's 24 players, and that can be divided by either galleons or...
It's 24 players maximums.
Yeah.
The limit is 6 ships. There can be 6 sloops on a server, and that server will cap out at 6 players. You cannot have more than 6 ships.
It does, however, though, apparently swap people in and out of servers. Like, they kind of just transition into other servers seamlessly, though. So there is some... Cool. So apparently there is tech to keep it moving. But again, it does feel like most of the time you're not really running into anyone. Which...
Right. I wish that what would be nice, like I think that something that would add to the game significantly would be like NPC like ghost ships or something with skeletons sailing them.
Yeah. I think the problem though is that you want the the ocean to feel big, and it won't feel big if it's a murder box of ships all the time.
Yeah.
But you want like more people than like one ship every like 2 hours, right? So it's kind of, I don't know. And some of that is like technical limitations of the Xbox, I guess, but some of it's but it doesn't stop it from hurting the game, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And I feel like the technical limitations of the Xbox might have worked a little bit to this game's advantage. Again, like all of the stuff I talked about Star Citizen, this game is light on content, but it just fucking runs like a goddamn dream on anything. It just works. Everything in the game just works. All the mechanics, all the ship stuff, all the stuff that's in the game is just rock solid.
Everything works, but I don't think there's enough hooks to keep anyone in.
Yeah, that is the big problem.
They did say that they intended for this game to be a platform for like a platform. Like they're going to continue to update the game with new stuff to do, I hope.
Yeah,
so it might be what it would coming back to.
What it would take almost is for them to add a like more heavy RPG elements and then drop like a whole loot system in it with progression. Like that's the only way I could see it making sense. Because right now it feels like the only reason you would want to collect money at all, sort of, is to get or clothes. Which, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, you know, that sort of stuff is fun, but it doesn't feel like there's a strong overall goal that you're heading towards.
I feel as though like stronger RPG elements might make it harder for like it would be easy for some dude to just camp at a spawn zone and beat your ass, right? If they have like better cannons or anything like that.
Well, they should just not respawn you in the same place all the time, first of all. Second of all, like, because the fact that you can camp anyone seems unreasonable. They should, if you die on the beach, they should send you to a different beach. You know, like if your ship blows up on an island, they should send you to a different island on the other side of the map or something.
Well, it does, but what people are doing, and I read this on the Sea of Thieves subreddit, what people are doing is they are continually scuttling their ship until they find the same player again.
That just seems like general harassment for no reason.
It is. Yeah. But it, as a PvP game, that kind of thing just happens. So, you know.
Also, scuttling your ship kind of takes a while, so that's like real dedicated harassment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There goes. Well, I mean, for the Xbox, I guess, whatever, maybe that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck else are you gonna do in this game?
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like, yeah. I don't know. Like, if it had... I mean, there's ways to, like... there are ways to balance it and fix it, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think if it had loot tables... I feel like adding loot tables is one way to fix a bigger problem than the smaller problems that would be easier to fix of adding a loot table. You know what I mean?
I think more different types of missions, too. Like, go find animals is really boring. I don't think we've ever even done that.
We've never completed one.
Yeah, we completed that. Yeah, taken those, but then we're like, yeah, fuck that.
And then you have like treasure maps, which will either just mark a spot on an island or give you a riddle to solve. And the riddle to solve is kind of fun.
That one seems like that one is the most interesting one to me. Mm-hmm. Honestly, like going and looking for treasure maps and stuff. But
yeah.
And then there's fighting skeletons. Like they could easily just track down the ghost ship. And they would say, it was last seen sailing north from Dead Man's Cove. And then, like, you go and, like, kind of go around the north side of Dead Man's Cove. And then you're like, oh, there's the ship. Go chase it down. That would be, like, tons of fun, right?
Yeah, that's another point. Like, a lot of the stuff that you need to do in the game is landing on islands.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times that's, like, one, difficult, and two, boring.
Excuse me, yeah.
Whereas if they had more stuff to do in the water, that would be more fun.
Yeah. Ship-to-ship combat would be great. Apparently there are, like, wrecks that you can salvage, but there's nothing to point to them.
But also, I don't think that I don't think that adding ghost ships would be enough stuff to keep you going for a long time. You know what I mean?
No, not for a long time. Probably.
And I feel like having it's weird that we're at this point where you have to add some sort of meta progression to every game to make it even interesting to play. But I think for any long-term like service game or platform game, like Sea of Thieves is kind of talking about being, you need to have a longer progression so that you're always working towards something. Or else it feels like, why are you even bothering? And the only reason we've played as much as we have is because as a group, as the three of us together, we have fun just doing things. So it's kind of an excuse to kind of hang out and be doing something while we just shoot the shit or stream or like talk to people.
Drink grog and
but if it wasn't for us streaming it, I don't know that we would want to put any more time into it, like, at all.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they have to have some sort of progression if they want it to,
much more interesting to play Vermintide or Divinity. Like, I would rather go back to those than stream Sea of Thieves again. Vermintide has this meta progression, but even just not discounting the meta progression in Vermintide, just playing the maps over and over again, even the same maps, it's still fun. You know,
there's enough variety with what happens in game to game, as well as a large variety of weapons that feel significantly different, and you have kind of this ladder that you're always working up, and there's difficulty levels, and there's bonus challenges, so there's like a lot of stuff going on.
In Divinity, while it has progression because it's an RPG, I feel like what keeps us coming back to Divinity is not like, we want to make our characters stronger. What keeps us coming back to it is just so dense in content. There's so much stuff to do with Divinity.
And all really good content, too.
Right, exactly.
I feel like with Divinity, we're sort of hitting a point, though, where we've kind of come across almost every skill book they're going to give us. So
there's one more set of skill books at level 16, I believe. 2 more sets of skill books that they'll give us.
2 more? Well,
yeah, 13 and 16.
Okay, then maybe that's so bad, but definitely, like, once you're in a place where you're not seeing new skill books for a while, it starts to feel like you're not really playing with your skills as much, and that's sort of like creeping in for me as we play Divinity. Plus, we keep hitting a wall where it's like, okay, we're too weak to fight these guys, so we need to go do something else. And that keeps happening over and over again.
At the wall we hit last night, which we didn't stream, or the other night, it wasn't like, I don't know, we could have just avoided that fight by saying, oh yeah, no problem, and then just leaving. But we wanted to save those people, so we kind of,
No, we weren't saving anyone. We wanted to kill those people.
Well, yeah, we wanted to kill those people, but they were going to execute people, so. Yeah, I don't know.
They already killed a bunch of people. They were just there.
Oh, right.
We weren't saving anyone. We were just killing them.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, but we just wanted to kill those people, but they're just so strong.
Yeah, but that's... I don't know. They exist there to fight, sort of. I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of people do.
Anyway, yeah, so... I feel like Sea of Thieves, but one, it's just not worth $60. Period.
Yeah.
I might say it's worth like $30, maybe, if you have other people.
That it's in. Yeah.
The problem is it's only on the Microsoft Store, and I don't know if they do.
Yeah, the biggest first boss is the fucking store.
Yeah. Like that
barely functions. We delayed playing it the first night for like 3 hours because everybody had to install it, and then it just straight up didn't work for Thel, and we tried to solve why it would not launch for Thel for like an hour and a half before we said, okay, just reinstall it, and now it works fine.
Yeah.
And so,
but we didn't even know for sure if that would work. So like,
we didn't.
It just, and like there were tons of server errors. Luckily, we didn't run into a lot of that. But at one point when we were playing, the servers had to shut down. Like, so I don't know. It's been kind of bumpy in general, but yeah, like this is the kind of game that might be worth. Like, I'm not sour to it, right? My thing is I'm not interested in playing a ton more of it.
I'm kind of bored of it.
I might put a little bit more time in it, but right now it just doesn't seem like there's a lot more to do.
Right.
But it seems like I would be very willing to come back to it if in 6 months they add a significant amount of stuff. I don't know. I'm ready to wait and see, but
right.
And if they do,
that's pretty much how I feel about it.
And if they do plan on keeping this game up as a platform for a while, where they can add stuff onto it, at some point they're going to have to put, like microtransactions in it, right? So, I think they did talk a little bit about like maybe adding pets and stuff. I don't know. That's kind of down the line.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be cool.
But this is gonna have to be like a discussion later on about how we feel about the state of the game, because right now it just doesn't enough to really sink your teeth.
Keep it going, yeah.
I
mean, it works base, so if they add stuff to it, it'll probably work too. If they can like put things into the game, it'll probably be a great game, and eventually, a couple of years down the line, it'll be worth $60. But not right now.
Yeah, depending on how heavily they change it, I could see I could see them doing major changes in just 6 months or something. I mean, like it seems like they have enough of the base level there that like the basic stuff works super well. So a lot of the stuff that they need to like change is content variety and some sort of progression, maybe.
Yeah.
Because right now it feels like what they're lacking is content variety more so than anything else. Even if they didn't add progression, like a greater number of things to do would help a lot.
Yeah, a greater number of things to do. I think that's where I'm hung up on. I like we
or
just
a reason to explore.
Yeah, you guys kind of had to talk me into trying to do that animal mission, and then we got sunk, and I was like, I really don't want to go back and try to do it again. Like,
no, the second we sunk, you were just the first one to say it. I don't think any of us wanted to try to continue. We sunk. It was just like, well, we lost the crates. We're not at a port. Yeah, well, like it's just too.
Yeah. Who gives a shit? Fuck it. I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a wait and see. I would not recommend anyone buy it at this point, but I don't feel confident like giving it a score either.
I wouldn't recommend you buying it. I would recommend if you have the opportunity to do the Xbox Game Pass for free, go ahead and do that.
Or if you're already subscribing to that, do it.
Yeah, definitely play it. Do not buy it for $60. That's what I would say.
Yeah, do what we did. Do it for free for a little bit.
Also,
like play the current demo of the game that's out right now. You can pretty much experience everything really quickly. We didn't have any idea what was going on, so a lot of the time in the game we spent was just figuring out how the game worked. Exactly. And now that we have a pretty good idea of how the game worked, we realize, oh wait, no, we've done everything.
Yeah, we never got a tutorial. I heard that other people got a tutorial, but I never did.
Yeah, same.
Maybe when they went solo, they got a tutorial.
Maybe I don't know.
And we never started a solo ship, so who knows?
Man, it was a pain getting people into one lobby in Xbox Live, though. Yeah. That's more Windows and Xbox Live stuff.
Yeah, it's still not an issue with the game. It's their stupid deal with It's a Rare game, so of course it's going to be Microsoft exclusive, right?
What I don't get is how can Microsoft, the creators of an operating system that worked pretty damn well, and Xbox, the creators of a GUI on the Xbox that doesn't work too poorly, right?
Yeah.
Like, how is it that both of those seem to work pretty decently, but the second
when you put them together,
the second it's like games on the PC, it's like, oh, everything's gone to shit. I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It
is like Saine did point out to me. It may be shit, but it isn't worse than games for Windows Live.
Yeah.
Games for Windows
still
Live.
Step up from games from Windows Live.
It doesn't fucking work half the time, but better in games for Windows Live, which doesn't work 90% of the time.
Anyway. Yeah, so I liked my Sea of Thieves experience a lot more than my games for Windows Live or my Windows Store experience.
Of course. Yeah.
It's worth suffering that to get to the game if to try it out.
If nothing else, just like try to play the game for a while. It's a lot better when you have a couple people to play with. Yeah. Even just 2 people on a sloop. I've never driven a sloop, but I feel like even 2 people together on that.
I heard that
pretty fun.
sailing a sloop by yourself is totally doable.
Well, well, another thing I've also heard is that a lot of people really, really hate, like, I've heard that game is not very fun if you play it on your own. And I can see that. I can see it not being.
I would say, like,
tried that.
I would say, like, at least 70% of the fun we had were, like, running around with each other, singing shanties and drinking grog and shit, you know?
Yeah, I think that's ultimately just an exacerbation of the problems that are already there for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're playing by yourself, those problems that we had together are just more noticeable.
Yeah, because you don't have friends to keep you going and yeah, exactly.
And distracted from
you burn out on
doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
Okay, do we want to go to a break before we come back and talk about what news we have? Which I don't know how much there is.
Probably not a lot, but let's do that.
There's a little bit.
So why don't we come back at 5:25? That would be like 8 minutes.
Sounds good.
For a nice round number.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, 5:25. Okay, we will see you in a little bit. And we're back. Second half of the show, we're going to talk about games and... No, we're going to talk about news.
God, that was like
games
the longest vape I've ever had to take.
You can't even breathe. His his lungs are filled with water now.
Filled with beer.
Filled with beer. My lungs are filled with beer.
Yeah. He just vapes his beer.
In case anybody wanted to know what I was vaping at any point, I'm vaping Samuel Smith's Winter Welcome Ale.
Beer vaping.
Yeah, so I decided to vape a nice Guinness. I really like let me just
So I don't know if there's a ton of news.
There's not a ton, but there's stuff we can talk about. A couple of things.
Why don't we start with movie stuff?
Okay.
Dookie. Okay, let's start. What do we got here up in this secrets compilation of news articles that no one knows about? Okay, so the first thing is that one of the sort of continuations of the things that we have been talking about a lot are this fear of Rotten Tomatoes and critics. Cannes Film Festival is going to overhaul the way that it screens to critics, so that critics' bad words don't get to the public before they see the movie.
What?
Oh, good. Just what everybody wants.
Yeah. I feel like there's a pretty good.
Doesn't that defeat the purpose of critics?
Oh wow, wow. Specifically for the people who are attending Cannes. So like, I think like before this, hold on, I actually haven't read very much. I didn't get down to the meat and potatoes of it. 2 changes. It's not the stuff. Scheduling in place for decades to protect filmmakers and talent from early bad reactions ahead of receiving world. Basically, it's the press were originally getting to see the movie a little bit early, and then but now like press will see the movie at the same time that everyone else attending Cannes, like when it is actually shown rather than early. Which sometimes press can say things about a movie that aren't good if the movie is bad. And this can color people's opinions about the movie, before they see it.
I think there is some truth to that, except the fact that people use reviewers to decide whether or not they want to see a movie in the first place, so of course.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. The people who are attending Cannes...
So if people don't know about this change, or even people that do, if they don't hear anything about a movie before they see it, are they gonna go see it?
Well, a lot of times when you go into a movie on Cannes, you haven't heard anything about a movie. Like you pay an upfront fee to watch.
I'm talking. No. The change is okay. Explain to me what their goal with the change to how they screen films at Cannes is. What is the goal?
To suppress
the goal,
critics.
Yeah.
So when a movie releases to theaters,
Right.
And nobody's heard anything about it. Is anybody going to go see it?
But the thing is, what they want people to have heard about is the marketing, not the critics.
Well, yeah, is the marketing and not the critics. But again, the critics are still going to see the movie at Cannes. They're just not going to see it before anyone else does at Cannes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's to stop people from coloring each other's critical opinions so that they have their own critical opinions? Because these are all critics, right?
No. Cannes is open to anyone who paid money. Cannes is a giant
but the intent.
Well,
okay, I don't know.
So they're what you're saying is they're not doing pre-screenings anymore.
Yeah,
the release day is going to be the same as the public release.
Yeah, the press is going to see the film at the same time as the public, and by public, of course, I mean Cannes. Like the reason I haven't attended Cannes is because I don't have like the $150 to go there, and also I don't live in France. You know,
well, these changes don't seem too unreasonable to me. Like,
yeah,
because it's a film festival. Just let everybody watch it at once. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, that is fine.
But think about that in the context of a different industry. If like immediately when you hear that there's a non-disclosure agreement until the release day of a video game,
the difference is okay. The difference would be like a game jam. Like they gave critics all of the games from a game jam.
Mm-hmm.
And then critics told ate a bunch of things saying what's good and what's not, and then they released the game jam to the public, and then people just decided not to play some of them at all. That's essentially what the comparison would be. It's not that I don't think I don't think the intention is necessarily to suppress people's opinions on it. It's just to not give people prior impressions before the festival. Like after the festival, people can watch it however they want, but like the festival, they ultimately want everyone to see all of the movies.
Yeah.
Or any of them that sound interesting.
So I guess I'm still confused then. Mm-hmm. So Cannes will be showing things that are not in public theaters.
Everything they show.
Here's how Cannes works. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Cannes works the same way as every other film festival. Well, except maybe South by Southwest because they show studio films. What people do is people make a movie. These people make a movie that was funded by a bunch of other people, and they make the movie. The movie doesn't have distributors. It's the movie that they made, that they worked hard on and want to get distributors.
Mainly indie films.
Yeah, indie films. So they bring it to film festivals, and sometimes there are films that already have distributors. Sometimes they're not. They bring it to film festivals, and people in the film industry watch it, and a lot of these people represent distributors who can bring these to wide theaters everywhere, or to Netflix, or wherever they want to put it, and they hope that they can get picked up. And not only that, but this is also they're showing the film to the public, because some of these Cannes films are only going to be in Cannes. It's a big worldwide festival, so films from all across the world come to Cannes. It's the biggest one. There's Cannes and Sundance, the two big motherfucking film festivals. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like all of the films at Cannes are going to come out before, like sometimes multiple years before they come out in theaters. Sometimes like
so then
immediately. Like I think Inside Out was premiered at Cannes.
So then at that point, what's the point of Cannes? You just said that some people use Cannes to find a distributor for the film. If the film is undistributed because like if it's already released, then what are they using Cannes for at that point?
The film isn't already released? What?
I think you're getting confused about what Cannes is. It's a film festival of indie films, so indie films are showing their films at the film festival to get people to give them money to do a wider release.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no,
but now they intend to make it so that it has a wider release either first or at the same time.
No.
No, they're not.
That's where I was confused.
They're not pre-screening the films to critics before the festival. Now the critics have to watch it at the festival.
Okay, that is where I was confused. Yeah. I thought that we were saying that the festival would only show things that had already had a wide release, and I was like, what's the fucking point?
That would be a very good question.
Okay, now I understand. Thank you. So they're not showing the films to critics before the festival.
Before Cannes,
They're showing the film to critics at the festival.
With everyone else.
Yeah. If a critic wants to watch it, they have to go to the same theater that everyone else is watching it at.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't know that was super irrelevant conversation, but okay.
It was completely relevant. I had no idea what we were talking about from how you described it, so you guys explaining it to me if anybody else didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Okay.
Sure. What's the next story? Let's move on.
Okie dokie. The next story is that one of the executives at Paramount basically just laid it all out there and said, the reason that we didn't want Cloverfield in theaters is because it was a fucking piece of trash. It was not marketable, in the words of the Paramount executive. So they dumped it on Netflix.
I feel like everyone already knew that.
Oh, everyone already knew that, but it wasn't exactly confirmed, you know? It was like, they fucking dumped this shit on Netflix.
I mean, I have to agree, but in what way do they think Cloverfield is not marketable? They could have just said, hey, it's a sequel to Cloverfield. Here you go.
A Cloverfield movie, as these Cloverfield sequels are. They added Cloverfield stuff in post.
Okay.
So they took a script, added Cloverfield stuff to the script, and it was a bad script, bad movie.
It was a bad script, so you put Cloverfield into it, and then it turns into a bad script with Cloverfield into it.
Yeah. Cloverfield Paradox. If you have Netflix, I mean, you can watch it. You're already paying for Netflix, so you're not going to be out of pocket,
But is it really worth your time, though? When you can watch better things like Jessica Jones Season 2.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like Cloverfield Paradox is a great movie to get together with a bunch of friends, grab some beers, grab some fucking popcorn, and just yell at the movie the whole goddamn time. Wonderful movie for that. Just sit there like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Why the fuck is the arm moving around? What the fuck is going on? Why the fuck did pressure break? Did the fucking, like the universe do that too? The fuck are you goddamn talking about, movie, you dumb piece of shit?
You said the word beer, and I couldn't find my beer because I had already finished it. So it's time for another.
Maybe you should slow down then. Let's move on to the next story.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was fucking nothing. Oh, here we go. The fun stuff. Finally, I don't want to say a conclusion to this giant debacle, but just another probable chapter in this giant debacle. The Weinstein Company has filed for bankruptcy. Good work, ladies and gentlemen.
Yay!
Take down the fucking Hollywood system. Fuck them up.
Is anybody surprised, though? Because,
that's what fucking happens. You fat
what happens
piece
when
of
you
shit.
rape
No one wanted to be the guys to give them money. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No one wanted to be the guys to save their company or take on any of their assets or anything, so they just are buying individual stuff from them like Paddington, and everything else is trash, in the trash.
Yeah. I was like, I was just about to say, but then who's gonna give Quentin Tarantino money? Oh, fucking anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll be a hard sell.
Yeah, no. Hey! Motherfucker just busting in the office. Hi, I'm Quentin Tarantino. You got yourself a check, mister.
You've got yourself a check.
Oh, wait, no, I already know the answer to that question. J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, it's like, hey, my best friend J.J. Abrams, can I make a Star Trek movie rated R? Sure, let's do that.
Why? I don't fucking give a shit about Star Trek, and I never have.
Well, we don't know that.
But we do know that about J.J. Abrams. I don't know about Quentin Tarantino. Maybe
I think J.J. Abrams does like Star Trek, but...
No,
I think he likes Star Trek, not Star Trek: The Next Generation, if you get what I mean.
Which is objectively the best Star Trek.
Yeah, well, he likes the idea, the concept of Star Trek, the concept of Star Trek, the Klingons and all the fucking Vulcans and shit.
I don't think J.J. Abrams. I don't think his Star Treks were terrible.
I like the concept,
but they were not.
Star Trek.
They were only loosely.
I like
Star
it.
Trek. I like Star Trek Beyond better than the other one.
Oh yeah, Star Trek Beyond was like a fun action movie.
And then the first one was okay as well.
Yeah, the first one was okay. Star Trek Beyond was the best one.
It was the second one that was bad.
Yeah, it was the second one that was really bad. You know why? Because even with Kurtzman and Ortsy, the fucking first one was at least okay. But when you bring Damien Lindelof on a project, oh boy,
bad trash.
Speaking of Damien Lindelof, I'm glad he's not working with Brad Bird ever again.
Who?
Brad Bird. He's the guy who directed Iron Giant and The Incredibles. And Tomorrowland, which was written by Damien Lindelof.
No, the other guy.
Oh, Damien
Lindelof. Can we not get into this talk every time?
Again!
Don't do this, Dalsson. Come on.
Okay, I won't do this.
Just wasting time now.
Damien Lindelof is a fucking rat bastard human being who shit in my bed one time. Anyway, next is Michael B. Jordan enlisting in a World War II drama about African Americans.
Yeah, there's a famous regiment in World War II of all African Americans, and this led to the integration of African Americans into normal, So
yeah. I remember. I remember that from history book.
Yeah.
My favorite history class. It was like 10 years ago.
My favorite That's my favorite thing that is adapted to screenplay is history book.
Michael B. Jordan has like a lot of people talk about poor race relationships and stuff in the movie industry, but I feel like Michael B. Jordan has like actively gone after roles that kind of talk about race relationships, whereas I think a lot of people will talk about it but not do anything, whereas Michael B. Jordan does seem to like actively be like looking for roles that are talking about race relationships. Even with like Black Panther, it was still kind of the same deal.
And that's also like Brian Coolidge's thing. That's one of his big things. Again, one of his like for his breakout film was Fruitvale Station. It's a movie about a black guy getting shot by the cops.
Yeah. It's easy to talk about, race relationships, and then it's another like dude that seem like to choose roles that put a light on it, and I think so I really commend Michael B. Jordan to like for taking on.
Yeah,
exactly.
And not only that, he's a fucking great actor.
But he is
a very good actor.
Yeah,
it's not like the only thing he does either. Like he played Human Torch in the Fantastic Four, which I mean it was bad, but that was. It was bad, but it wasn't like explicitly a race related role.
Well, in a way,
he played Cyborg in Flashpoint Paradox.
In a way, if you think about the Human Torch in that Fantastic Four movie, it was recasting a white actor as a black actor, or a white character as a black character. Yeah. So maybe that like I don't know, that's kind of an interesting twist on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think that was the right move, though, because, like...
That movie was terrible?
Well, that movie was terrible, but of the four of them, I feel like Johnny Storm is, like, the most white guy of them all.
He's the whitest
you know what I mean?
dude.
Yeah, he's the whitest dude of the Fantastic Four, it feels like, so that was kind of an odd choice. Maybe I would have gone with Ben Grimm, but that's just me.
Yeah. That movie cast fucking, the Whiplash boy as fucking Professor Impossible. Alright. No, but that's the fucking Venture Brothers one. God damn
Professor Impossible.
Mr. Fantastic.
I can't fucking believe you just said Professor Impossible.
No, I get, you said that, and I was like, I'm just gonna let it go, because everyone knew exactly what you were talking about, I feel like.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I've been rewatching all of the Venture Brothers, and I'm going to talk about the whole series when I'm finished rewatching it.
Well, whether or not you're actually talking about Mr. Fantastic or the one from Venture Brothers, like, the spirit is the same.
It's the same character.
Yeah.
Well, one of them is much sadder than the other.
Which one? Because,
Professor Impossible's wife leaves him.
No, but he's a jerk and, like, doesn't even seem to care.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas,
he's like a cardboard cutout 60s, like, cartoon character in a world with real human beings.
But Mr. Fantastic actually does kind of have shitty stuff happening.
He's that type of character in a universe that takes those types of character and turns them into real human beings. That's the fun part.
Yeah.
He's like a good guy turned into a comic book villain in some ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he became a villain.
Yeah, like he's the opposite. He's like a real human being who turned into a one-dimensional comic book villain.
Yeah. Joined up with Phantom Limb and started the Revenge Society.
Phantom Limb.
Fucking Phantom Limb is great. Don't talk shit about him.
So, in news stories about Netflix making everything known to man.
Anyway, yeah, sorry about that. New Carmen Sandiego. That's a live action Carmen Sandiego movie. Okay. All right. Sure. Okay, we can do this. That's fine.
That sounds great. I love Carmen Sandiego.
Where in the world is she?
Still can't find the stupid bitch, but I love her anyway.
Netflix has found Carmen Sandiego.
I think Carmen Sandiego is fun because, geography and stuff.
Exactly.
I think.
How are we gonna make a live action movie? Yeah, the point of Carmen Sandiego is to teach kids geography. They're making a live action movie. But is it gonna be like the Tomb Raider movie or like what?
But I feel like there's enough that you could do.
Do you know who Carmen Sandiego is, though?
Yeah.
I feel like there's enough with Carmen Sandiego that you could have like a globe-trotting adventure where you have like a bunch of filmed on location places in like Paris.
Okay, that might be cool.
I feel like there's enough there. Live action movie does imply that it's made for adults, not children, though, which is kind of an interesting twist for Carmen Sandiego.
Well, it's one of those things. Carmen Sandiego, when was the height of her popularity?
Yeah.
15 years ago.
Well, of course,
most of the people who know about Carmen Sandiego are probably adults now. Yeah. So,
and again, the article we got on this is from Polygon. They're going for that target audience.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I don't think that really matters because you could bring Carmen Sandiego back now as the same thing.
Sure,
because kids don't know what it is, but it's not like they couldn't revive the property.
But Thel, you mentioned like how could they make a live action movie about that? I said, do you know who Carmen Sandiego is? I don't mean do you know what Carmen Sandiego is. I mean, do you know who Carmen Sandiego herself is?
Oh, I guess. Go on.
I don't know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
She's like she's not like Lara Croft. She's a thief.
Okay.
She steals things.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like she had like Carmen Sandiego. Carmen Sandiego exists as she's not just like, oh, I'll find the Carmen Sandiego. Where'd she go? Like she exists as a character, so you could do something with that.
Oh. She has had like 2 cartoons, so I suppose.
Yeah.
Plus a bunch of like edutainment games.
Yeah. She's not like Where's Waldo, where he's just
I think you're misunderstanding or underestimating how much Thel actually does know about Carmen Sandiego, because I think we all have a base level of knowledge about who that character is. I don't know.
Right, but like I feel like shit, even if you wanted to make the movie about like skip the edutainmental stuff and just make a movie about Carmen Sandiego, it could be like a heist movie. How are we going to steal the Eiffel Tower?
I'm going to put the Eiffel Tower in Peru.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? Because fuck you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
like there's a lot of stuff they could do with it, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, my plan is to put the Eiffel Tower in Peru. But Lord, why? I mean, I'm out of evil ideas. There aren't exactly many other things I could do. I could rob a fucking bank. You want to rob a fucking bank? We're putting the Eiffel Tower in Peru. Anyway.
Maybe they'll steal the Pink Panther.
They're gonna steal the entirety of the loaf.
Could chase him. Clouseau chases Carmen Sandiego.
The crossover God never intended.
And Sherlock Holmes can come too. And you know what? Lupin the Third, because why not?
And Edgar Allan Poe came too. He's the wacky sidekick.
Lupin the Third is just working to steal the Eiffel Tower from Carmen Sandiego, who already stole it.
They're like competing over stealing the Eiffel Tower, while Clouseau, or the Pink Panther rather, while the Clouseau is trying to make sure that doesn't happen, and then Inspector Zenigata helps him out.
Ready Player One,
mad world, except it's like it's a mad world, except with just a bunch of characters attempting to steal the Eiffel Tower.
It'll be a movie.
Steven Spielberg, take some notes.
It'll be a movie where characters who are parodies of each other start to work together.
Go Team Venture!
Yeah, all right.
It's Steven Spielberg. Take some notes. The final in the final battle, the guy who had to do it to them does it to them.
That makes me wonder how many of those characters are public domain and which ones aren't.
Oh yeah.
Because I know that Sherlock Holmes is public domain. Yeah. Carmen Sandiego isn't.
Yeah,
for sure.
So.
She had media that was too recent.
Yeah. I think the Pink Panther stuff, I think that isn't. Well, might be. That might be.
Not yet. I think it takes a lot longer for.
No, but I feel like I think those were based on an older novel, so the characters might be up for grabs. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe.
I know that Lupin obviously wouldn't be.
Yeah, like, and actually, Lupin, of all of those, that would be the hardest one to get.
Yeah.
Lupin started during like World War I or II.
I don't think it's that old.
It is because Lupin was one of the animes that people point to say this is like the start of anime, where they had like really shitty budgets and had to do what they could.
That started in the 60s.
No, Lupin the Third was in 1979.
Yeah,
really?
77.
Yeah. Oh, actually, that was the first adaptation.
The first adaptation.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Original run was 1976.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Because
1967. It was 67, not 76.
Right, yeah. 67.
But that was the manga. The anime was not until 1979, and the animation budget was already good, and they had done a lot of anime before that. So.
Yeah. Well, I know, and not only that, but like anime and manga, that whole thing is like a big post-war Japan.
Yeah.
Right, because. But the anime thing, like the I don't know. This is information I'm trying to remember that I learned 10 years ago and promptly forgot about because it wasn't relevant to my life at all. But and like anime kind of. Now I have a podcast, exactly. And so, like, I'm pretty sure anime, like, kind of, like, the reason that they use such low, like, sometimes use such low budget animation like 2-frame mouth movements and just that whole style in general developed because either during the war or post-war there was not a lot of budget to throw around.
That had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
That was just animation techniques cutting corners. That was just the business. Like it had nothing to do with war.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you look at some of the, I think that was made at the same time around Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z, and they had similar things going on, or not Dragon Ball Z,
Dragon Ball,
yeah.
And actually, Dragon Ball was probably the highest quality out of all of those. But,
yeah.
Was Sailor Moon the 60s?
I think the original run in Japan was.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the ones that was like the big 80s.
It was originally serialized in 91. That's actually new.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yes, yeah, I thought that I could have swore that one was like post Akira.
It's first. Oh, you know what? It was turned into an anime in '92, so it was only existed as an anime for a year before it was adapted. That's kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But that's still in the same time frame. That's 92, and the first Lupin movie was 93 or 97 rather.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the same time with the movie. I thought you were talking like when you were saying around the same time. I thought you were like talking like 60s and 70s. I was like, I didn't think Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball were that old.
Dragon Ball is the anime was 86.
Yeah.
So okay, the Dragon Ball anime was older than that, which is funny because it has higher quality than the original Sailor Moon.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna go all out on something in an Eastern animation effort, what better than Journey to the West? Right?
Well, it's not. It's not Journey to the West.
Don't tell me Dragon Ball is not Journey to the West. It is explicitly Journey to the West.
The characters are based off of it, but it is not Journey to the West. When was the last time you watched Dragon Ball? There's a whole story arc where they fight robots in a castle.
I'm pretty sure Goku fucking Wukong
video game where they fought robots.
Okay, that's Enslaved Journey to the West, which I've also played. But that one was Journey to the West, except there were robots.
Yeah, that one was like explicitly Journey to the West with robots. Yeah.
Whereas Dragon Ball was characters based off of Journey to the West characters, didn't do the same things as in Journey to the West. Anyway, that was a tangent. Let's move on to gaming news.
In conclusion to Carmen Sandiego, Dragon Ball is not Journey to the West, according to these assholes.
So what gaming news do we have?
Yeah, I'm gonna start off with this real quick. So this won't be relevant to you if you're watching a recording, but if you're watching this live, The Darkness 2 is free on the Humble Store today.
Okay.
So if you are watching this live, all two of you, you can go ahead and check out that free Darkness 2, which I've played it. It's a pretty good game.
I'm gonna go do that right now.
It's pretty fun.
Now, in more important news,
Pornhub.
Pornhub.
How is this even news?
Hey man, we gotta fill time.
Pornhub released a blog in which from September 27 to March 2018, there was a rise in Fortnite searches 824%.
Okay, so if we started this podcast 10 years ago, would you be reporting on the fact that there's actually Minecraft porn floating around? Is that like
this podcast 20 years? No, if we started this podcast like 15 years ago, back in fucking the days, we would be reporting on the fucking wave of Simpsons porn that was coming in. The answer was yes, Dalsson.
What if they made Simpsons porn illegal?
Yeah, in some places.
One fear. The slippery slope. All right. Anyway, go on.
So
please
some of the
continue.
commonly searched terms, other than Fortnite right now, are Overwatch, Team Fortress 2, and video game. Also, Minecraft's in there.
Are you fucking still?
Still.
That doesn't surprise me. Minecraft porn.
That completely is why Minecraft? They're made of squares.
No, my problem isn't necessarily that they're made of squares, right? They're made of squares. That I understand people wanted to fuck Minecraft. My problem is that there's not much in Minecraft to fuck.
Creepers, I guess. Why do they want blocks? I don't know. Let's move on. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
How is this news?
This is definitely news. This is
in other Fortnite news. So did you guys hear about how Ninja, the top Fortnite streamer on Twitch, played a game with Drake?
Yes, I did. I think I watched part of it, but I hate Fortnite, so...
That catapulted the single, the record for single streamer, and beat it by, 16 times or something.
Wow.
Yeah, he beat himself by, 16 times, because he was already the top streamer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ninja has been just getting insane growth on Twitch. Recently he's gotten Like in the last month, he went from like 20,000 subs to like over 100,000 subs. I just do not. That man's success is just insane.
Well, it's kind of like risen directly with the popularity of Fortnite in a lot of ways.
Well, it's true, and he plays a lot of Fortnite. He's the man who like invented half of the strategies that you use in Fortnite now. Like riding on a rocket.
Ninja also said that, like, in an interview with someone, I don't remember who it is, but he did a live TV interview with someone, and he said last month he made $500,000.
Wow.
Fuck, dude.
Last month. So
yeah,
so he's making millions of dollars a year, which is really cool because maybe like we'll get there one day.
That's like more than a lot of people have on salary.
Yeah.
More than 90% of people have on salary.
But that easily puts him in like the top 1%. Not the 1%, easily. But like probably the percent. I don't know. Probably top 10% of like wealth in the country. But yeah, so that's pretty cool that, you know, someone who plays video games can. Popular.
Yeah, you can just make that amount of money.
And that's just from Twitch. That's not even sponsorships or merch deals or any of that stuff. It's just from Twitch.
Which I'm sure he gets if he is literally the #1 streamer on Twitch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And like, he's got a good formula for success. He's funny, he's charismatic, and he's really good at playing the video games. Those are like the 3 things that people recommend to you. Like you either need to be funny and engaging or really good at the game you play. He's both, you know? Right. So, like, of course he's going to be that successful.
And apparently Drake is a fan of his and was able to, like, hook... Like, the funniest thing about this to me is Drake actively sought out Ninja. It wasn't the other way around.
It wasn't like Ninja was like, yo, Drake, you want to play some Fortnite?
No, Drake was like, hey, Ninja, you want to play some Fortnite?
Yeah. And
so they did, like... They streamed together, and then also Kim.com showed up at some point.
What?
You remember Kim.com? He's the guy who made Mega Upload, and then later Mega. Yeah.
What?
He legally changed his last name to .com. I think he's I forget what country he's from. I don't want to say the wrong thing. But
I know who you're talking about.
Weird. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. That's crazy. It reminds me, it vaguely reminds me of when Snoop Dogg did this stream, Snoop Lion or Snoop or whoever he is now.
I think
he did a stream on. He's Snoop Dogg again.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's been Snoop Dogg for like a couple of years.
Back to Snoop Dogg. Okay. See, I can't keep track of Snoop, so I'm just gonna call him Snoop. Snoop did this Twitch stream where he was playing. I don't even remember what he was playing. It was like something like really dumb, like Dark Souls.
No, it was a survival game.
Or like The Forest, maybe something like that. Something like
no, it was
like
a more recent one. It was actually only in the last couple months, and it was a like a new game that is in early access right now.
Right. Well, he was streaming it, right? But at one point during the stream, like he was talking with his hands, and shit was still happening in the game.
I think he was actually like. I think he was actually rolling a joint or something.
Yeah, or something like that, rolling a joint, you know, doing something, and he wasn't. It was very, very clear that he was not playing the game, and he got a lot of flack for it. But it was also like the top stream on Twitch the whole day.
What I think was going on with that is he was doing the commentary and talking with other players, but someone else was actually playing.
Right.
And it, like, if you were watching the stream live, it didn't seem that disingenuous, because it, like, you could kind of tell. But later on, that company put out a press release saying that Snoop was playing when he wasn't. So they got in trouble. They got in trouble. The company got in trouble for kind of lying about what was happening when Snoop was just there.
He was just there being a personality, and like what, like that's.
And I don't
like
think
anyone. That's kind of the whole point of Twitch. Like you wanna view the person. If you want to watch gameplay videos, just go watch a muted fucking Let's Play, right?
So I don't think anything. I don't think any of that happened until, like, I don't think there was any blowback until afterwards that they sent that press release. From what I heard about it,
right? Well, what was cool about Ninja and Drake playing together is like they were clearly just on a team. Drake was just hanging out with Ninja. Like, it was, I don't know, it was neat. Disclaimer, though, I've never even watched Ninja. I've seen clips from him, obviously, because you can't not, but...
I haven't. I didn't even know what he looked like until, like, yesterday.
3 seconds ago? Okay, yeah. Wait, when you read this article 3 minutes ago.
But Twitch is just such a cool fucking platform for all kinds of stuff. Just engagement in general. Like, let's plays have always been...
bleed purple.
Yeah, right? Let's plays have always been interesting to me, right? Like, I've always kind of wanted to do them, and I'm like, well, you know, I don't feel like doing it. It's just me playing a game. Can I really be that engaging? But on Twitch, it's so easy to be engaging because you are, like, live and talking to other actual human beings. It's such a great platform.
And we still do some Let's Play stuff, too.
Please sponsor us, Twitch.
Yeah. Hey, yo, shout out to YouTube for give us more fucking views, goddammit.
Please surface our videos. Please, YouTube.
YouTube,
we don't understand how or why things work, but please.
Please stop hiding video games. Listen, I know Sea of Thieves has a gun in it at one point, but please.
Listen, man, YouTube, nobody knows how your bullshit works, but if you can, like, favor us, I don't know, we'll sacrifice a goat to you or something. We don't know. We're out of ideas.
We'll draw a little Google logo in blood.
We'll sacrifice a Hollow Knight bug to you or something. You seem to like that shit. We don't know why. We don't know what the fuck is going on from day to day.
So, Dalsson, why don't you take the news story about Pokemon Go?
Okay. So I didn't actually read this news story.
Oh, no.
Right. The news story itself, right? But I know about what's going on in Pokemon Go. Like, the bare minimum baseline, the way I can explain it, is they are adding, quote-unquote, and this is a very big quote, story quests. And when you complete the story, you can capture Mew. But who gives a shit about capturing Mew, right? Like, in the mainline Pokemon games, that's a big deal. Fuck, shut up. I think the cool thing about Pokemon, it's the same thing we were talking about Sea of Thieves, right? For like 2 years now, or however long Pokemon Go came out ago, it's just kind of been the same thing. All you really do is walk around and catch Pokemon. And yeah, there's like this gym scene, so you can like do the fights with gyms, and those are just kind of shitty in general. But adding like quests, right? Like they're like research quests. Like, your professor will be like, yes, today I would like to research a Rhydon, but a small Rhydon won't do. You need to catch a large Rhydon. And like, so it's still like the same thing, but it gives you like an actual obtainable objective to work towards, as opposed to just, well, I've got to catch them all. Unfortunately, all that's spawning on my 30-mile walk is Pidgeys and Pidgeotos, you know, Dugtrio. Like you're that like it's rolling out later this week. It may even be rolled out by the time the recording is posted.
Yeah,
it'll definitely be rolled out by the time the recording is posted with Saine's track record.
Hey,
wow,
I posted on time at least half the time.
Okay, in any case, it's rolling out for players later this week, and it's like a slow rollout, so one of your friends might have it, you might not, but you'll know when you get it because it'll update for you. So I'm kind of excited to try it. I haven't gotten it yet, but it seems like fun because like the way that I would play Pokemon Go for a while is like I walk to work. I would just walk in the same path every day and walk to work, right? And then I'd like look at Pokemon Go and be like, oh, hey, there's the new Pokemon I haven't seen before. I catch it, right? But this way, like it kind of does what the game wants to encourage you to do, and encourages you to like go out on a walk and explore and find new Pokemon rather than just take like just play it while you're going around. Now, of course, obviously everybody's just going to drive in their car to wherever they need to go, but you know, if you feel like going for a walk, take up your Pokemon Go app and be like, hey, my professor wants me to catch a big Charizard today. So
you said that as though when you said professor, I assumed you were like talking like college. My college professor was like, "I'm fucking hungover. Go play your Pokemon Go's or whatever. Catch a big Charizard." I don't give a shit.
Right. Well, like.
No, I knew he meant Professor Oak
right.
stand-in.
But from my understanding, it does have like a story to it. Like the quests will be like that, from my understanding. Like go catch a big Charizard or whatever. But there will be a story to it. Like I need this research, and then later on they'll be like, oh, your research. This is just speculation at this point. This is nothing confirmed. Oh, I researched that Charizard. Wow. Fire types are really interesting. And I need to do more research on it. Like there's a story to it, right? Like there's actual characterization to the people you're working for and stuff like that, rather than just go do this like just a objective that you grab and then ignore.
I just don't have the time or energy for Pokemon Go anymore.
Right. I feel you.
Plus in Arizona, like at certain points it gets 1,000,000 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't walk anywhere. You'll die.
So
do what most people who still play Pokemon Go is, and just go for a drive in your car to the nearest gym, take it, and then drive to the nearest gym in 3 minutes and take that, and just do that for hours on end, and put your strong Pokemon in it so that nobody will take it for at least an hour.
Yeah.
At least 5 minutes.
At least as long as
Phoenix
it takes
is a
for
big
one gym
city.
battle.
There are a lot of people who play Pokemon.
Yeah.
I
figure.
Let's move on to the last topic of today.
Okay.
Which is?
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is adding weapon skins. They're adding 2 new crates, one of which will require paid keys to open, but the other one won't.
How does that...
What?
How does that work? So, like you have the skin equipped, and then when you find the weapon, it will be that skin?
Yeah, I don't know. Question.
Can it work? The other question is, can it work like Team Fortress 2, where you kill somebody using a weapon skin, and then you can pick up that weapon skin? Like, not permanently, but for the duration of the game.
I assume not. I think that probably what actually... See, I don't really know. Because I haven't really, like, dug into, like, how they were planning on doing this, but it does sound like, you'll have to find them on, like, you find the weapon on the ground, and then whenever you find that kind of weapon with whatever skin you have, you probably do that, I guess. I don't actually know. The other thing that PUBG Corp is talking about is they recently started factoring ping into matchmaking, which I'm surprised they kind of haven't been, but apparently they're doing that now. And which means they're not, like, actively region locking other zones, but now a lot of the people spamming region lock China are kind of getting what they want.
Which is good and bad, right? Good because you're not going to find a bunch of Chinese gold farming aimbotters in your US server games all the time.
But you'll find American ones.
But bad because I think the most fun I ever had in PUBG was when we got matched with a Chinese dude who knew just the bare bones amount of English to play PUBG specifically. He was like, follow me. Yeah, he was so good, and like it was a lot of fun. He would like yell, like he didn't know how to say over here, so he would yell follow me, and we went up to him and he'd point out a gun to us, and I was like, oh, thank you. So he goes, no thank you. Instead of no problem or don't worry about it or anything like that. It was just like tons of fun. I enjoyed playing with that guy, even though he spoke like 5 words in English.
But see, that was fun because he was actually playing the game for real.
Exactly. That's what made it fun.
So
you could get the same experience with a different pub who's just a cool dude.
So you can still kind of force your way into other servers by joining squads, which kind of would save that if you had someone you knew who was like that, I guess. But
yeah.
Or like if you know someone from China or are friends with people.
Yeah,
from
like
China,
if we played with some dude from Australia, like this would prevent us from being match made with him, but we could still go.
Or if your ping is high enough, despite being in another country, you could probably queue into the North American server anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully this helps.
Yeah.
But at this point, I might still go back to PlayerUnknown Battleground every now and then, but I'm sort of not in it the way I was before.
So. Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun with it. And I don't regret my purchase at all. I thought it was fine, but I don't know. I played a lot of it, and I think I'm mostly done with it.
Right.
But I don't care about Fortnite either, so.
Yeah.
Of the two, I definitely prefer PlayerUnknown.
Yeah. I might try getting into Fortnite for a little bit because I have a bunch of friends at work who want to play with me.
Right.
But, like, the building, like, I think straight up, I would absolutely be fine with Fortnite. I know you had other problems with it, Saine, but I think I would be fine with Fortnite if buildings just, if constructibles just were not tangible until they finished. That would 100% fix the game for me from the little bit that I played. Because spamming walls as soon as you get shot is not fun. It's just not fun. I don't like it. It's not fun for the person shooting at you. It's not fun for you being shot at.
Well,
and that's how I feel about it.
I think some people find it fun to have that level of strategy, but you don't find it fun.
Right, exactly. I don't find it fun.
And for me, I don't think that's good or bad necessarily. That's just a part of the game as I see it. Mm-hmm. But I think the shooting is so bad in that game that I don't want to even invest time into it because I feel like the shooting is just so
I think my issue is a different symptom of the same problem because it is a shooter, right? And what you have a problem with the shooting elements is that the shooting itself is not fun. I have a problem with the shooting elements in that half of the shooting elements are taken away by the fact that the only way to win is to spam walls in front of the person shooting at you. And
I don't
like,
know,
I've watched people play Fortnite. That is how you play the game.
You kind of
it's
build
not
your weird
strategy.
You kind of build your weird specific structures, and you're trying to get high ground. It changes the strategy of how you are trying to kill people. The problem is, like, the actual guns just feel like you're shooting marshmallows or spraying so far around people that they could be standing in front of you. I don't know. And there's no feedback to the guns. Like, I just really don't like the gunplay. Maybe they'll tighten that up because they keep talking about how they're continually like changing bullet physics over and over. Like, they keep talking about it. Like, I've seen multiple like comments on how they're updating bullet whatever, but I don't know. Like, I just don't see how you can get from point A to point B. Like, I don't mind it being sort of arcadey, but if they're gonna do that, I want it to be like Call of Duty arcadey, not like whatever they have now. You know?
Right. Yeah.
It just feels like the bullets don't hit where you want to, and when they do, like, you might hit a spot where it does nothing. Like, I don't know. It just feels, I don't know. It's so, at least with PUBG, you know when you shoot them, you know where your bullets will kind of generally go. You know the rules about how the bullets work, and you know when you shoot people, they die. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I get you.
But I do agree that, like, plopping a bunch of cover in the middle of a fight, like, changes the dynamic of fights a lot, and that
might
be bad depending on how you feel about that.
I think a lot of people like it because it adds a layer of strategy. I think that I personally don't like it because it's disruptive. It is a shooter game, and it's disruptive to shooting.
Yeah.
Like, that's my issue with it.
I feel like, though, if the shooting was better, that would be less disruptive. You know what I mean?
Maybe. Yeah, I could see it.
Because if you had a chance, because one of the things that people do in that game is they make big bridges, shoot people down from on those bridges. If you had a decent amount of accuracy and knowledge about how the bullets react and you shoot up at them, you would be at a significantly less disadvantage if the bullets are actually like more accurate.
But more what I'm talking about is not like the building and moving around on your building. What really solidified this opinion for me was I saw a clip from some Twitch streamer where he puts down like he starts getting shot at, whips around, sees where the guy is, puts walls in front of him, and then puts walls all around him in a square, and then just builds a wall above him. And the guy is shooting down at him, like you're talking about from one of those sky bridges, and he just flat out for like a minute and 30 seconds, he just uses every single bit of resources he can to keep building the same wall on top of his little bunker that he's instantly
Yeah, but obviously that's not a winning strategy, though. Because
it is, though, because
he's gonna die.
This was clipped and shared around and viewed by like millions of people by saying, "Look at this pro play."
I mean,
and
maybe
the guy
he's like building stuff, but did he ever like shoot back and kill the guy who's shooting at him, or did he just do that until he eventually died?
At the very end, until the guy got bored and walked away, and he got out of his stupid little cove and shot him. Like, that was the pro play that I saw, and I was like, is this really considered a pro play in Fortnite? That's fucking stupid.
I don't know. Like, that's annoying for sure, but I don't know. Like, honestly, for me, I'm kind of indifferent about the building. It is another thing about the game. Right. But if the actual parts of the game, like the shooting aspects, function better, I'd probably be less annoyed when playing it. Also, the games go a lot faster, which on one hand is like sort of a benefit because
you're not stuck in a game.
You're not stuck in long games, and like you can get games very fast. But at the same time, there's no time to build tension, so it's just kind of like
right.
I don't know. Saying, I do prefer PUBG.
Like, I like the idea of the building. I think it would be fun to like try to, like in PUBG, we try to find a house to hunker down in towards the end of the game where we think the circle might go. I think that would be fun in Fortnite to build a fortress where we think the circle might go. But that's not what building is used for. Building is just used to plop down instant cover no matter where you are at any time you want. And that's what I think is weird about it.
Yeah, I don't really like it that much either, honestly, but I don't care about it as much. Yeah.
Right.
So so that's weapon skins on PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's not a lot to say about weapon skins, really.
Yeah. I mean, they're adding more.
Like that's a good idea. I don't dislike the idea of weapon skins. That's cool. Team Fortress 2 did it. It always works.
I don't like paid keys. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like paid
keys. Yeah, I mean, it's when we're getting to the point where loot boxes are becoming a dirtier and dirtier word, it just seems gross to have keys in it. I don't know.
Right.
I kind of agree. Even if TF2
but it's not like they're only adding a paid weapon skin thing. Yeah. They're adding weapon skins that you can get aside as well.
Maybe, but it's still gross. I don't know. Yeah. Especially if they put all the good shit in one thing, and it's like,
yeah. So guys, breaking fucking news. Something that has been a long time coming. Something that we have made jokes about for years. And something that with the new Harvey Weinstein thing has become not only a bigger joke, but more of a, wow, I can't wait for this to finally fucking happen. It happened. Nickelodeon splits with producer Dan Snyder.
No way.
And allegations are coming out about him mistreating the little girls.
Oh, no, really?
Fucking guess. Oh, no, of course, though. Like, this isn't like there have been stories about this. Again, it's like Harvey Weinstein. Everyone knew. Oh, boy. Here we are.
You say everyone knew, but everyone always presented those as a joke. Always. Nobody ever was. I don't think
those
was
jokes
ever
came from everyone knowing. Yeah, there have been like Reddit AMAs for like some of the people who work on Sam and Cat, like legitimately to asking of Dan Schneider being asking to tickle their feet and stuff like that. The joke came from this man's illicit activity with children.
Well, that's gross.
Go fuck yourself, Dan Schneider. Get fucked. Suck my dick. I'm a 20-year-old man, so you probably ain't gonna do that, but, suck my dick.
I'm glad...
Anyway, why don't we wrap today's show up on that...
On a positive note.
On that gross note.
Yeah, alright.
So, this upcoming... so, today we released a Star Citizen video, right, Thel?
Yeah, just came out a couple hour ago.
I watched the first 20 minutes, but I was doing a bunch of stuff, so I didn't get to finish.
Okay. First 20 minutes, the video's only 10 minutes.
Yeah, the first 2 minutes.
Okay, alright.
20%. I think I meant 20%.
Okay, alright, yeah.
First
20 minutes of a 10-minute video. Shit, dude, you just watched it twice.
So we've been streaming Sea of Thieves, so I don't really know what we're planning on streaming the rest of this week. We have Little Nightmares coming out.
Yep. Just like always.
Are you just doing more Path of Exile this week, Dalsson, or do you have any plans?
Well, I need to keep going on Final Fantasy 15. So it's gonna be between that and Path of Exile most of the time, I think.
I've been playing a lot of that too lately.
Yeah. You're actually farther than me now, so I really need to play catch up.
You need to bust out.
Well, I'm farther than you, but I don't know that I've played more than you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I get you.
Have Little Nightmares coming out.
Yep.
Probably already said that. Is that everything?
Yeah,
that we have planned so far?
I think that's about it.
All right. Well, that I guess we'll see. We'll say see you next time, and remember,
stay beautiful.